The Shooting of Dan McGrew by Robert Service. A bunch of boys were whooping it up in the Monologue saloon. The kid that handles the music box was hitting a ragtime tune. Back of the bar in a solo game sat dangerous Dan McGrew, and watching his luck was his light of love, the lady that's known as Lou. When out of the night, which was 50 below, and in through the din and the glare, there stumbled a miner, fresh from the creeks, dog dirty and loaded for bear. He looked like a man with a foot in the grave and scarcely the strength of a louse. But he tilted a poke of dust on the bar, and he called for drinks for the house. We none could place that stranger's face, though we searched ourselves for a clue, but we drank his health, and the last to drink was dangerous Dan McGrew. There are men who somehow pin your eyes and hold them fast like a spell, and such was he, and he looked to me like a man who had lived in hell, with a face most hair and dreary stare of the dog whose day is done as he watered the green stuff in his glass, and the drops fell one by one. Then I got to figuring who he was and wondering what he'd do. Then I turned my head, and there watching him was the lady that's known as Lou. Then his eyes went rubbering round the room, and he seemed in a kind of daze, till at last the old piano fell in the way of his wandering gaze. The ragtime kid was having a drink, there was no one else on the stool, so the stranger stumbled across the fool and sat down like a fool. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat, and I saw him sway. Then he clutched the keys with those talon hands. My God, but that man could play. Have you ever been out in the great alone, where the moon shone awful clear, and the icy mountains hemmed you in like with a silence you most could hear? Only the sound of the timber wolf, and you camped there in the cold, a half-dead thing in a stark dead world, clean mad for the muck called gold. While high overhead, green, yellow and red, the northern lights flashed in bars. Well, you've a hunch what the music meant. Hunger, a night and the stars. Then all of a sudden the music changed, so soft that you scarce could hear, for you felt yourself looted clean of all that you once held dear. That someone had stolen the woman you loved, that her love was a devil's lie, that your guts were gone, and the best for you was to crawl away and die. 'Twas the crowning cry of a heart's despair, and it thrilled you through and through, and it reached the mark of the blackened heart of the lady that's known as Lou. Then the stranger turned, and his eyes they burned in a most peculiar way. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt he sat, and I saw him sway. "And boys," said he, "you don't know me, and none of you give a damn. But I want to state, and my words are straight, and I bet my boat they're true, that one of you is a hound of hell. That one is Dan McGrew." Then I ducked my head, and the lights went out, and two guns blazed in the dark. Then a woman screamed, then the lights went up, and two men lay stiff and stark. Pumped through his head, and pumped full of lead, was dangerous Dan McGrew, while the man from the creeks lay clutched to the breast of the lady that's known as Lou.